Hi guys, welcome to the channel. You're watching Guru Reviews, and what I wanted to review in this video is The Devil All the Time. This 2020 Netflix movie got me interested because of the stacked star cast. Bill Skarsgård, Tom Holland, Sebastian Stan, Robert Pattinson, Kylie Rio, then Jason Clarke, Mia Wachowski, hope I'm getting the name right. You can see why this movie is so interesting. And the movie is produced by Jake Gyllenhaal and Randall Poster and is directed and co-written by Antonio Campos. So many names. I have a sheet right next to me to remember all the names. What got me interested in the movie, like I said, is a stacked star cast, and that is it. The first couple of minutes of the movie gets you to understand the tone that the movie is going for. It's grisly, it's dark, it's grimy, it's brutal, it's violent. And that should give you a cue why you shouldn't be watching this movie with your friends and family, if at all. Okay, that's why you shouldn't be watching this movie with your friends and family at all. Uh, the movie is complex. There are a lot of interwoven storylines and plot lines that tend to converge with each other as the movie goes on, and towards the end of the movie, you realize why it all makes sense. But what this movie gets right and wrong is something that I want to talk about. The movie gets wrong in a couple of ways. Number one, the plot line is too complex, and at times I felt that it wasn't strong enough so that it merits these three disparate storylines that are going on. So the story kicks off in this cafe where where Bill Skarsgård has returned from, I think, the World War II, and he meets this woman, falls in love. Jason Clarke also meets someone, falls in love, and then Bill Skarsgård's mother wants him to get married to someone else. That person marries a preacher, this religious fanatic, and so these are three different storylines that take place. Uh, and the way they converge with each other, it takes a long time. It's a slow burn. It will test your patience. So I would highly recommend that you have patience throughout the movie. Do not let the confusing or the meandering plot lines get to you, and have patience to what this amazing movie can bring forward. uh, what the other aspect that really got me interested is that, a lot of these actors, especially Tom Holland, we've known him for his MCU movies largely, like Spider-Man. So I wanted to see, can he bring the acting chops into a serious movie like this? Can he make it work? Can he go outside his cheerful superhero persona as a serious actor who can take the bull by its horn and lead the movie despite its stacked star cast? And it really works. All the actors are so phenomenal. All the actors are, you know, so great in their respective roles. The other thing, coming back to again what I didn't like, is I felt that the movie was a bit too long. It's at 2 hours 18 minutes, so it's definitely a long movie by Hollywood standards. Those last 18 to 25 minutes could have been snipped off, could have been shortened so as to, keep it tight and keep it to the point. And I felt that the story and the plot could have been written more in sync so that it gives a satisfying ending. And this is a very important point to note. The movie has a good ending, but is it a satisfying ending? Personally, I did not find that. I did not find the movie to have a satisfying ending. It was a good ending, but sometimes as audience we tend to watch movies and we are waiting to see what happens, and that is exactly what happens. We are waiting to see how these plot lines converge, but we are not, as an audience, waiting for that satisfying ending. And that is where I think there's a bit of a problem in the movie. In its overtly complex structure in the rural America in the 1940s to 60s and 70s, there is a narrator who is never named, and that narrator sort of like tends to give you the exposition that you need to understand what's happening in the movie in these small towns in Mead, Ohio, in Knockemstiff, in another state. And that narrator serves as your base of understanding what happens. Without the narrator, the movie would be very, very confusing. And that's what I felt, that the narrator kept popping in different places. And that took away a bit from the movie, and it acknowledged the fact that the movie was complex. Now that we've spoken of the bad, let's talk about what's good in the movie. The acting is superb, it's phenomenal. Highlight of the movie is undoubtedly Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson plays the role of this, of the shady preacher, who has predatory instincts. He tends to lure in young women and often underage women uh, as a preacher, as a pastor, and tries and abuses them. I will not get into much more details because it's a little graphic. And boy, oh boy, his acting will blow you out of the water. And to see him pull that accent, in a rural American accent, is so amazing to see. And the way he captivates you in the role through his meaning, through his meaningful yet mincingly evil persona is something that will keep you on your edge of the seat and you want to see more of him. Just like the trailer made it out to be, he does not have a huge presence on screen. He has a presence here and there on the screen, but not quite a lot. Tom Holland is also able to pull this accent off really, really well, and hats off to him for being able to do so. Bill Skarsgård, we've known him from It and a bunch of other movies. His eyes have this crazy, crazy look that suits roles like this unhinged kind of a role, and that is what I really liked about this movie. That he's able to continue that till till the time he is there in the story. Riley Keough and Jason Clarke as this unhinged couple who tend to do very perverse and very, very graphic things. But warning again, they have these bunch of pictures in the movie that Riley Keough and Jason Clarke take of people they have murdered. They're like serial killers couple, and it's so graphic. I mean, Jesus, I couldn't believe what I was watching in the movie. So hat tip to you. Do not watch this movie while you are eating or you're doing something fun or something else. Just watch it as it is. And Sebastian Stan as this corrupt police officer is also does a very fantastic job in his role, and the way he pulls it off, as this corrupt guy who's good for nothing, but tends to he wants to take revenge for his sister played by Riley Keough is comes out really, really well. Jason Clarke, I read another review which said that Jason Clarke probably comes across as an old man in this movie while the rest of the actors remain fairly ageless, and this is quite true. Amongst all these young actors like Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Jason Clarke stands out. But the way he plays his role menacingly and the evil machinations that he has behind what he does is what will get you reeled into the movie. And perhaps I felt that his ending was the most satisfying out of all the different plot lines. Now, to take now it's based on a book, and to take the very fact that there's gothic horror in this, and it kept me thinking of the time that I saw True Detective. There's definitely a lot of similarities to it. So if you have seen True Detective, you will understand what I'm hinting towards and what I'm going towards, and that is what works so well in this movie. So if you are in that kind of a genre, now this is not a mass market movie. Many people may love it or not love it. Even the critics are divided. But personally speaking, what got me into the movie was the stellar acting, was the stellar performances of these actors, and nothing else. The plot line, of course, is very convoluted, but what I really liked, the underlying theme of the movie, is the conflict between corruption, or the amalgamation, I would say, between corruption and spirituality. Spirituality has a very strong role in this movie, and the way people tend to put the blind faith on spirituality as a panacea for all their illnesses, as a way for all their problems in life, is what is very, very interesting and exciting in this movie. And the way Tom Holland comes across as a non-believer in the very fact, despite being having raised in a spiritual environment for most of his life, is what strikes me as what stood with me, and I could sort of like personally relate to it, as I would not blindly believe any religious preacher or anyone just because they occupy that holy position. Uh, Fantastic movie. I mean, I would say that this does not deserve an Oscar, and it's not that caliber. But in terms of getting this cast together and getting uh, them to work together, Jake Gyllenhaal, you can definitely see Jake Gyllenhaal's thought process behind writing this movie and getting this movie made. Brilliant. This is definitely a one-time watch. I don't think I would watch it again. Maybe one of those movies that I would watch certain clips of it. I just want to see Robert Pattinson's acting more and more as I go forward in this movie. I wish there was more of him, but sadly there won't be. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this review. If you like what I do, subscribe, follow, leave behind a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.